All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Pitch Perfect podcast. We've got a cracker of an FA Cup third-round tie coming up, one that's got everyone buzzing. Derby County versus Leeds United. Elena, this just screams classic FA Cup magic, doesn't it?
Absolutely, James. There's just something about the FA Cup, especially in the third round. It's where the Premier League giants enter. But before that, you get these fantastic matchups between teams from different divisions, often with a rich history. Derby versus Leeds is exactly that kind of game, steeped in rivalry and potential drama.
Definitely. And from a betting perspective, it's intriguing because you've got Leeds, who are flying high in the championship, looking like serious promotion contenders, against Derby, who are also having a fantastic season in League One, pushing for their own promotion. It's not your typical David versus Goliath where David has no chance. Derby's a strong side.
Precisely. You can't just write off Derby County at Pride Park. They've got a passionate fan base, and that home crowd is going to be absolutely rocking for an FA Cup tie against a team like Leeds. It's the kind of game that can elevate a team's performance, that extra 10-15%.
For sure. So let's dive into the nitty-gritty, starting with the odds, because that's where a lot of our listeners are focused. Looking at the money line, Leeds are the favorites, which isn't a huge surprise given their league form and the division difference. They're coming in at 110.
Yeah, that 110 for Leeds feels fair, maybe even a little generous considering their quality. But then you look at Derby County at 275, and that's where the FA Cup upset potential really shines through. A draw is sitting at 250, which also isn't out of the question in a tense cup tie.
Exactly. That 175 on Derby is a tempting long shot for many. But before we get too carried away with upset talk, let's talk about the teams themselves. Leeds, under their current manager, have been an absolute force. Their attacking play is relentless, and they've got quality throughout the squad.
They really do. They've got pace, creativity, and a real clinical edge up front. Even if they rotate some players, their bench strength is considerable compared to most League One teams. That's a huge advantage, especially in a competition like the FA Cup, where squad depth can be tested across multiple competitions.
And on the flip side, Derby County. They're not just making up the numbers in League One, they've shown real defensive solidity this season, which is crucial when you're facing a high-flying championship side. They've got that grit, that determination that you need in these kinds of games.
They absolutely do. Their manager has instilled a real fighting spirit. They don't give up, and they're organized at the back. It's going to be a fascinating tactical battle. Leeds' high-intensity press and attacking verve against Derby's resilience and ability to hit on the counter.
So looking at the total goals market, we've got an over-under of 2.5. Over 2.5 goals is at 105, and under 2.5 is at 125. What's your gut feeling there, Elena? Do you think we're going to see a goal fest or a tighter affair?
My gut honestly leans towards the over. Leeds can score, and they can score a lot. And while Derby are defensively sound, it's hard to imagine them keeping Leeds entirely quiet, especially if Leeds bring their A-game. Plus, for Derby, scoring against a championship side would be a massive boost, and they'll be pushing for it, which could open up the game.
I tend to agree. The article we're referencing, by the way, points to Leeds winning 2-1 as a likely score, which would naturally hit the over. Leeds' attacking prowess combined with Derby's motivation to get on the scoresheet against a higher division opponent makes the over a very tempting prospect at 105.
And that leads us to the both teams to score market, doesn't it? Yes is at 130 and no is at 100. Given our thoughts on the over, BTTS yes seems like a pretty logical extension of that line of thinking.
Absolutely. If we're expecting Leeds to score, which is almost a given, and we're giving Derby credit for their home form and fighting spirit, then them bagging at least one goal seems very plausible. That 130 for BTTS yes feels like a solid bet, especially if the game opens up later on.
I think the yes for BTTS is actually one of the stronger picks here. Derby at home, in an FA Cup tie against a rival, they have to go for it. They won't just sit back for 90 minutes. And Leeds, well, they rarely get blanked, do they? Their attacking talent is just too high caliber.
True. The historical context here is also fascinating, even if recent head-to-heads aren't explicitly detailed. Derby versus Leeds is a classic rivalry, particularly inflamed after that championship playoff semi-final a few seasons back. That adds an extra layer of spice to this FA Cup encounter. It's not just another game.
You're absolutely right, James. That history, that animosity, it fuels the players, it fuels the crowd, it makes everyone push just a little bit harder. It's not just about progressing in the cup, there's pride on the line. And sometimes that's where you see the most unexpected results.
So let's talk about the ultimate prediction. The article we're using as a guide leans heavily towards a Leeds win, specifically a 2-1 victory. That makes the Leeds money line at 110 their best bet. Do you agree with that assessment, or do you think there's a world where Derby pull off the shock?
It's tough to argue against Leeds. Their quality really is a step above. But I just have this nagging feeling about the magic of the cup and Derby's home advantage. If there's any competition where the underdog can thrive, it's the FA Cup. I wouldn't be shocked if Derby snuck a draw and forced a replay, or even a narrow win.
A draw at punts 250 is certainly intriguing then, especially if you think Derby can hold out. But if Leeds play anywhere near their potential, even with some rotation, they should have enough. Their squad depth is just on another level. I think their attacking quality will eventually break Derby down.
I hear you, James. And realistically, that's probably the most sensible prediction. Leeds have momentum, they've got the talent. But for the romance of the cup, I always want to believe in the upset. My heart says Derby, but my head says Leeds. Maybe 2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah, that 2-1 prediction does seem to capture the essence of the game pretty well. Leeds winning, but Derby putting up a valiant fight and getting on the score sheet. So, if we're making our official picks, the article's best bet is Leeds moneyline at 110. An alternative bet is over 2.5 goals at 105.
I'm going to go with the both teams to score, yes, at 130. I think it covers both scenarios. Leeds winning 2-1, or even a more surprising 2-2 draw. I just can't see either team keeping a clean sheet here, especially with the attacking talent Leeds possess and Derby's home drive.
That's a strong pick, Elena. I'm going to stick with the Leeds moneyline at 110. I think their quality will ultimately shine through, and they'll want to avoid any replays or extra fixture congestion given their promotion aspirations. A professional performance and a win, even a narrow one, feels most likely to me.
So we've got a slight difference of opinion on the absolute best bet, but we both agree it's going to be a highly entertaining game with goals. That's the main thing for the neutral fan, right?
Exactly. No matter what the outcome, this Derby versus Leeds FA Cup tie is going to be an absolute spectacle. It's got everything: rivalry, cup magic, two informed teams, and real implications for betting. I genuinely can't wait for Sunday, January 11th. It's set to be a classic.
Me neither, James. It's what the FA Cup is all about. Hopefully, it lives up to the hype and delivers a thrilling game for all the fans and punters out there. Thanks for breaking it all down with me.
My pleasure, Elena. And to all our listeners, good luck with your picks and enjoy what promises to be a fantastic cup tie. That's all from us on the Pitch Perfect podcast for today. We'll catch you next time.
See ya!